everybody, Claire Ray Randall at Waking the Monkey, wakingthemonkey.blogspot.co.uk. Right, I'm just making this short video today because I want to encourage all my viewers, subscribers, to make a donation to Lauren Southern or the Defend Europa Defend Europe group. Now, I'll explain what this is about. This is a very important situation we have at the moment going on at in the Mediterranean. Right, you're probably aware that there is, in the last few years, since Colonel Gaddafi was taken down by Hillary Clinton and Obama, the flood of, the trickle, as it was then, of migrants coming across the Mediterranean to Europe via Italy has become a flood, and it's now become apparent, I mean, we suspected this for a long time, but it's now become quite apparent that NGOs are actually performing the function of people smuggling, in that there's now been it's now been ascertained from geopositioning satellite data that these NGO boats are hovering off the coast of Libya. They might even be receiving messages as to locations of these rubber dinghy life rafts that the Africans are on, because they seem to go directly to particular locations, very specific locations, pick up these life rafts just a few miles off the coast of Libya, just outside Libyan waters, about 12-15 miles, that kind of thing, and then they ferry them all the way back to ports in Sicily and southern Italy. Now, maritime law is fairly explicit, I think, is that people adrift, found adrift, should be rescued, of course, and that they should be taken to the nearest land, to the nearest port, which of course is in Libya. It's much further to Italy, and of course we've seen that there have been something like 10,000 Africans a week have been coming into southern Italy, and then they've been massing up in the north, and there's all this debate amongst the EU about what should happen to them, and Austria has said that it will call out the army on the border if the Italian government gives them visas, the migrants. So it's a pretty kind of funny situation, because it does seem to be the case that EU agencies are promoting a massive inflow of what can only be described as invaders, really. I mean, they are going out of their way not to stop this, but to actually encourage it. So they are the ones who, are risking people's lives by encouraging this. And so what's happened is a group, Defend Europe, have got together a boat. They've crowdfunded a boat, 130-foot boat called, I think it's the Sea Star, and spelled with a C. Anyway, they're having kind of difficulties at the moment. I'm not sure what the current state of it is, because various different bodies are doing everything they possibly can, to stop this ship from going there and observing what is happening. The Independent has published an article claiming that they are trying to stop the rescue of these migrants, when if they have said themselves they will observe maritime law if they are in the presence of any migrants or people in rubber dinghies who are at danger. They will save them, and they will take them back to the nearest land, which is Libya, which is the maritime law. Whereas the NGOs are clearly operating a kind of people smuggling people trafficking exercise here. So we have to ask really why it is that the EU, which already has a massive problem with migrants and refugees, is actually encouraging these people. Obviously, Africans all over Africa will be seeing images of this, and there will be, the poor people of Africa. They're trying to get here. I mean, you can't blame them individually. They just see some low-hanging fruit. It's the European agencies, the EU itself, that is clearly promoting this. This is a very, very dangerous thing they're doing, because in a few years' time, if this continues, we're having, what was it, 1.5 million in 2015, and then there was probably more than that last year, but we kind of don't seem to hear so many figures. And then this year again, with 10,000 a week coming into Italy, they're being promoted with that, right? So the Defend Europe group is going there to observe and expose what is going on here, and it's entirely crowdfunded. Now, I've just been and had a look at their website to find the support and donation material. Oh, well, the website is there. The support donation page is somehow or other it's receiving, I can't seem to, was it error 404, can't be found. So I suspect they're taking, they're having, they're probably, getting interference, basically, cyber jamming or whatever. Lauren Southern herself, who many of you may know, who was at Hamburg. She's an independent journalist, and I think those are the ones we trust best at the moment. And she had a place on the boat, but she actually gave it up to somebody who she said would probably be a bit more qualified and a better kind of shipmate, not being probably very that experienced in that herself. So, but she's kind of nearby, I think, and giving a kind of backup support. Oh yeah, what's happened? So right, Patreon, which is a video platform which she was on, and which she gets, or she used to get, a substantial amount of her funding through from subscribers, voluntary people who are, giving money of their own accord because they believe in what she's doing. Patreon has closed her down, so that bulk of her income is not available now. So these options, you can see that the deep state is exercising power on these various bodies, and doing everything they can to close this down. So we can see that what's happening with the people trafficking by the NGOs is something that is so very major that is going on, because this will continue. If it's not exposed, it's not challenged, it will continue, and it will continue. And I've seen videos of what Europe might be like in 10 years' time. I've seen there's been continuous rioting in parts of France, Paris. Obviously, we see this in Germany. We have massive presence of Islamic crowds in places in the United Kingdom, such as Birmingham, even Parliament Square. And this is all building up. It's all part of the same thing, clearly, because it's undermining the very existence of Western civilization. So the only one I can at the moment kind of give a link to is Lauren Southern. That's pretty easy to find. I think it's just I'll put the link below. Lauren, paypal.me/Lauren Southern, and I would urge all my viewers, pass on this message, either share this video or ask your friends, even if this video is only seen by 50 or 100 people. If everybody there, out of that number of people, were to just donate a few dollars, that'd be a few $100 more for her to carry on her very, very important truth gathering expose of what is happening, because we're in a tremendously dangerous situation at the moment where Europe is being completely overrun, and the first thing we have to do is we have to stop the influx of, you know, these invaders, because that's what they are. They're puppets. Obviously, they're puppets of the higher powers. They don't realise what's, you know, going on, but they're foot soldiers. They're private foot soldiers who just see a bit of free stuff in Europe, and obviously it's the big people in the EU who are responsible for this, and, you know, there's Soros and Oxfam. I'm really I'm disgusted at Oxfam. They've been putting out leaflets saying "Open Europe." Oh, it's, you know, as if Europe is a place that anybody, you know, everybody, you know, has a right to be in Europe. Everybody has a right to come to Europe. Everybody has a right to receive benefits, healthcare and housing in Europe, which has a population of about 550 to 600 million, which is less than a tenth of the world's population. And there's probably a quarter to a third of the rest of the world's population would love to come to Europe and receive social benefits, housing and things, but the infrastructure simply will not take it. The people who are doing this to Europe, the people in the EU, are criminally responsible for attempted genocide, and I may do a video on that soon, because clearly promoting you know, the inflow of tens of thousands of potentially hostile aliens into our country, and shutting people down on the basis of claiming they are xenophobic or racist. These things are completely meaningless. If you don't have a border, you don't have a country, somebody said last year, and I fully agree with it. So I will just wrap it up here. I'll say the most important thing is please donate to Lauren Southern, and if the Defend Europe donate comes back up again, then please donate to them as well. This is really, this is the most important thing that's going on for Europe at the moment, and obviously the mainstream media are trying to shut it down. They're trying to shut down funding streams for the people who are doing this. Now I'm you know, I usually just you know, make quiet little private donation somewhere to somebody you know, I agree with, or some outlet, and this is the first time I've ever you know, come on here and said please make a donation to, and it's not to me, I don't need the donation, well, I wouldn't mind it, but I'm not calling for that. It's Lauren Southern and Defend Europe. This is what they're doing, is they're trying to expose the catastrophically dangerous people smuggling of tens of thousands of dangerous, illiterate foreigners who have no place in our society. They have no foothold, they have no skills, they cannot speak our languages. It's dangerous for us, but it's just as dangerous for these people, because they don't realise what they're getting into. They're just, you know, adventurers. So please make a donation to Lauren Southern or to Defend Europe, and I'll leave the links below. So thank you very much, and do what you can, even if it's only a few dollars, $2 or $3. Hundreds of people make $2 or $3. This can keep this thing going. Righto. Thank you very much. Bye bye. That there is in the last few years, since Colonel Gaddafi was taken down by Hillary Clinton and Obama, the flood of, well, the trickle, as it was then, of migrants coming across the Mediterranean to Europe via Italy has become a flood. These NGO boats are hovering off the coast of Libya. They might even be receiving messages as to locations of these rubber dinghy life rafts that the Africans are on, because they seem to go directly to particular locations, very specific locations, to make a donation to Lauren Southern or the Defend Europa Defend Europe group. Now, I'll explain what this is about. This is a very important situation we have at the moment going on in the Mediterranean. Right, you're probably aware, and it's now become apparent, I mean we suspected this for a long time, but it's now become quite apparent that NGOs are actually performing the function of people smuggling, in that there's now been it's now been ascertained from geopositioning satellite data that... Oh, hi everybody, Claire Ray Randall at Waking the Monkey, wakingthemonkey.blogspot.co.uk. Right, I'm just making this short video today because I want to encourage all my viewers, subscribers,